Well, I've got this cool little part here. I've got the CAD model read in already. It's a pretty sweet little lever that goes into an automotive part, kind of a small little part here. But what's important to my client, if I look down this way, the spline, the axis that's formed by this part of the spline is very important to how this the spline opens and closes this lever here. So I've got to use that as part of my datum structure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up some planes on here, but what I wanted to show you guys is how you can pick up planes, or how you can pick planes from the CAD by using multiple surfaces. It's super easy. So let me zoom in just a little bit on this again. The way I'm going to go to my planes, I've got an icon that's set up right here. That's creation of planar type features. Or if you don't have the icons up here, you can grab it under the Measure, Features, Create, Planes. I know it's quite a long ways to go down there and get it, but let's just call this, I always like to rename these things first, so let's call this Spline Plane 1, and then I'm going to pick it from the CAD model, but I'm actually going to pick multiple surfaces. So I'm going to click on this dialog box there and hit pick. My cursor turns to the finger pointer here, and notice in V14 here, what happens is when you're over a planar feature, the planes will actually highlight. So this is new for V14. It's kind of nice. So I'm going to click on that one there. So I've clicked with the left mouse key. Now I'm coming over here and clicking again with the left mouse key. Okay, so it's clicked on both of those sides of that plane, and now what you do is you hit the right mouse key to solve for it. So right mouse key, it just solved for both of those. I'm going to hit my space bar to go into the cursor here, or allow me to rotate around a little bit. Now space bar again pulls me back to it. Notice that in my plane features here, it's automatically increased to spline plane 2. So then I'll come down and grab this plane here, and then this plane here. So I'm left clicking on both of those planes, and now that it's solved there, I'm going to go right mouse, and it just solved for that entire plane. So I'll close that up a second. Okay, notice in my model tree I've got both of those planes, and then here you can see them both on my CAD model, and those planes have stretched between both of those splines. Well, in this case I've got to find the median plane between them, so I'll do that quick a second here too. So if I highlight both of these planes, and here I'll just pick my icon for planar features, and I'm going to call this the midline plane. Okay, and then instead of picking that plane, since it doesn't exist in the model, I've actually got to create it from the objects that I've just created. Notice the sub method too. It says average of planes. So I'm going to create that. Boom. And I'll close out of that. So notice what I've got is I've got a midline plane now. In fact, let me turn off my model. I'm middle mouse button pushing down on there and getting rid of that model. Okay, so you can see now I've got these two planes that are set up from multiple surfaces, and those guys will create this midline plane. Okay, so just wanted to show you guys how to create planes though, by going into multiple surfaces here. Super easy to do, but it won't let you click on multiple planes if they don't occupy the same space. So like if I was to do this, let's try this just as an example. If I was to say, I'll call this the trial plane. Okay, and if I was to pick multiple surfaces, say I pick this plane here, so I clicked it with the left mouse key, it's not letting me pick any other planes, planar features, because they're not in plane with this, until I'm going to hit the space bar and rotate down a little bit. Space bar again. There. Once I get to that plane there, it sees that as the same plane, and it will let me left click on it, and then right click solves for it. So super easy to do, but just make sure you click on the multiple surfaces as a sub method.